Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katy.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katy, all powered by Home Right Windows and Doors in Waynesboro, the right choice winner in the 2024 Best of the Tri-State. Our next guest today, we have Ron Solaski. Good?
Yes, ma'am.
CEO of Patriot Federal Credit Union. Thank you so much for spending time with us today and Let's Talk Tri-State.
Well, Katy, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to have you just start by educating me personally. What is the difference between a bank and a credit union?
From a product and service standpoint, Katy, it's not much different anymore. We're a commoditized industry, but we as credit unions are not for profit. So we don't pay dividends. We only pay dividends to our members, not to shareholders. The other big difference is our board of directors is volunteer. So they volunteer their time to serve on our board and still have the same fiduciary responsibility as banks.
I like that word, fiduciary. That's a good one.
It is a good one, yeah.
It's a big one, right?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
How many branches do you have currently?
So right now we have 10, including our Chambersburg Area School District branch. We did recently, and unfortunately, closed our legacy branch at the Letterkenny Army Depot in June.
Is it true that opening up branches are on the decline?
It is in the banking industry. In the credit union industry, interestingly enough, across the United States, credit unions are opening branches. And to that end, of course, it's an exciting time to be at Patriot because we'll be opening 2 branches in 2025. Oh, wow. One in Spring Mills, West Virginia, and the other here in Greencastle.
Oh, wow. That's
Very nice.
Great.
Yeah, for the longest time, Patriot was thought of as the Franklin County credit union, as it were. And then a while back, there was at least the ATM was put in the south end of Hagerstown, and then now expanding down into Berkeley County, which is very nice.
Yeah, for sure. And our branch presence and our brand awareness are very strong here in Franklin County, and it's something we're hoping to continue and replicate into Washington County, Maryland, Frederick County, Maryland, and into the eastern panhandle of West Virginia.
What's going on at Patriot? Like, what's up and coming? And
So 2 branches isn't enough, right?
It's very difficult to please.
You have to have more.
Never enough. On a serious note, we're really excited about that. We haven't done simultaneous branch builds to date in our history, so we're a little nervous, but we're very excited about bringing Patriot value and Patriot values here into Greencastle and to further strengthen our brand awareness in Franklin County. And then certainly really excited to move into the eastern panhandle of West Virginia.
Cool. That is really cool.
Yeah, so by 2030, we plan to have 15 branches across the region.
Is it difficult to open up Patriot Federal Credit Union in multiple states? Does that make it more complicated?
So that's a great question. We're regulated by the National Credit Union Administration, not the FDIC. So what we had to do to be able to do just that is expand our field of membership, which now includes Franklin County here in Pennsylvania, Washington and Frederick counties in Maryland, and then Berkeley, Jefferson, and Morgan counties in West Virginia. But to do that, we had to go through our regulators to have it approved.
What is the benefit to going with a credit union versus a traditional bank, as most would know?
I think we really pride ourselves on member, and we call our customers members as opposed to customers. We really pride ourselves on delivering a great member experience and making that the difference between a credit union and a bank. But again, structurally, we don't pay taxes. We are not for profit. We have a volunteer board of directors, and truly, we have a commitment to the communities that we serve. And that's not dictated by the Community Reinvestment Act. That's something we as credit unions across the country do, and that's kind of what we adhere to. Our mission is not for profit, not for charity, but for service. Mm-hmm. And we really hold ourselves to serving not only our members, but the communities that we serve.
It's also nice to know a lot of the traditional banks are being bought up by conglomerates and becoming just going under the national umbrella or the ultra regional umbrella, as it were. But with Patriot Federal Credit Union as the present example, is I know as a member of Patriot that if something is truly an issue that I would otherwise need to visit a central location, I can do that. I don't have to call an 800 line and get through the Lord knows where that leads.
Right.
Or if I wanted to travel to the central office, it's not that maybe it used to be in Hagerstown, and now it could be in Charleston, South Carolina. Well,
Sure.
I'm not going to Charleston because my checks didn't come in time.
Gotcha.
Right? If I'm still writing checks. So that is nice to know that for a 5-minute drive, I can get up to Chambersburg or in Waynesboro at my local branch and know that everything I need is within a certain geographic area.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because we do also pride ourselves on being ultra, to use your term, ultra local, to really serve, certainly Franklin County. That's where, the lion's share of our business is. But as we further expand and grow and go across state lines, we do need to continue to focus on the future, and to that end, being relevant to a new generation of members, whatever that looks like.
Do you offer, outside of banking, loans, vehicle loans, home loans?
So anything you can do at a bank, right? Loans, mortgages, certificates for savings, anything that a bank offers. Really, one of the focuses that we're having today is upping our game, I'll call it, on the digital front, and really making our experience on your phone, on whatever device you're on, like walking into a branch. We call it at Patriot frictionless. So that experience should be the same whether you walk into a branch or you're using your mobile phone, and that's something that is exciting for us as we move to that proverbial next level.
I'm sure it's challenging too. I mean, every time technology changes, it takes me quite a bit of time to understand and navigate everything. So I'm sure that can be challenging too.
When you get to know it just in time for it to change again.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap, right?
Sure.
It's very expensive, but from Patriot's perspective, it's an investment in Patriot, in our members, and in our future.
Mm-hmm. And you were just talking about with the younger generations. I mean, everything is so technology driven now.
Oh my, yes. When you talk about things like PayPal and Venmo, I don't think either of my children, they're 18 and 20, have their own checks or have written them, but they know how to ask Dad for a Venmo to get money, right?
Does Dad know how to do it?
Dad sadly does. I can't play dumb, so I tried that initially, and it really doesn't work.
Not with your position.
No,
job,
right. But it is exciting. It's different the way consumers interact with their financial institutions today.
I was going to ask you, what are some of the customer banking behaviors that you're seeing more recently?
It really depends on the demographic. Everything you read says people, the younger generation, I'll call it, may never go into your branch, but they want to know that branch is there if they have an issue or a problem. They want that face-to-face interaction that you talked about. But outside of that, from a transaction perspective, they may never want to walk in to do anything other than apply for a car loan or mortgage or get some, get some advice from an expert.
And that can be really intimidating when you're younger and trying to navigate, life and finances, and you're really not sure what to do. When I was younger, when I first started, dealing with finances, I was always scared to go to a bank. I didn't really understand. I didn't know what questions to ask. I didn't want to sound uneducated. So I can imagine that it can be intimidating sometimes to come into a bank. And
I just want to interject here. I value Katie's honesty, but she's still scared to go into a
This
bank.
is not wrong. You're not wrong. I have so many questions.
Well, I think too, when you talk about money and finances, it's stressful. And whether you're 18 or 58 and getting ready to look at retirement, it can be a very stressful experience. And one of the things that we at Patriot are committed to do is make that experience welcoming. Make sure our members feel welcome and feel at ease when they're talking about things that aren't always easy to talk about.
Sure. And you have a customer right here with Tiny. Tiny, what's something that you really love about the Patriot Federal Credit Union? No, mean to put you on the spot here, but...
No, my favorite thing is the ability to do the mobile deposit, which I know now is common.
Yes.
So I understand that. But I remember when Patriot first got the capability to do that, it had been around for a little bit, and I kept wondering, when are we going to get it? We've got to get it. And then when it finally came, I could not have been more excited. And like I said, I understand that every financial institution now has that. But to your point, the ease of use of the mobile app and the website, that is very important, because I also have another financial institution that I use that, for me, in an investment property that we have, it makes more sense to have that completely online type of experience. And I can tell you that that experience with that institution is not better, or actually not even as good as the Patriot experience. What I love is that it is, and I mean this in the best way possible, it is a simple experience on the app. And I think far too often the technology, while it is supposed to make our lives easier, that's the intention, it winds up getting just completely bogged down with all the unnecessary click here, do this.
Verification code
Yes,
here.
it is one streamlined menu for Patriot, and I can't tell you how important that is when you have it. And you don't notice it until you don't have it.
Sure, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your comments. We hear from our small business members, especially those that own properties, how convenient that is to be able to deposit rent checks and things like that. It's funny, I talk to our management team and our board all the time about, our mobile app and the device itself, and I say, hey, our mobile app is great for 56-year-old Ron, but I don't know if it's great for my 20-year-old daughter or my 18-year-old son. So that's one of the investments we're going to be making, again, in the interest of this whole idea of an omni-channel experience being frictionless and the same. So it's exciting.
Yeah, you have a lot of big things happening with the branches and this, a lot of really good movement happening.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, it really is a great time and a great opportunity for Patriot. As you said, every time we turn around, bank branches are closing. Smaller community banks are being bought up by the larger banks of the world. And we really feel like we fill the gap or fill the need that so many of the communities that we serve actually need, and that Patriot can provide.
If I come in and I open an account at Patriot Federal Credit Union, is there a monthly maintenance fee to do that?
No, ma'am.
And is it a fairly painless process?
Yes.
I'm assuming.
Sorry.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'm glad you said that. I do believe that we can do better. Of course, I always believe we can do better, but it is a fairly painless process. I think our members are very understanding when Patriot does fall short. And that does happen, and we recognize that. But one of the things that we're committed to is doing the right thing by our members and our community.
And I'm sure you really get to know your members, because I'm sure that they've been with Patriot for so long, you really, really get to know them well.
Yes, for sure. And again, that goes to what makes us different. We really like folks like Tiny that have their branch. They probably know you when you come in by name.
Yeah, that's true.
And that happens at most of our branches. So that is definitely one of the differentiators.
I think with the credit union portion of things being member owned, is a lot of people say when you go into any business, well, my money is what funds this. But ABC business doesn't matter. But there is a difference when you walk into Patriot and get the service that you do receive, which is top notch, knowing that I'm part owner of this. I have a vested interest in this. Now, obviously, I'm not drawing a paycheck and I'm not living off of any dividends by virtue of that, but just knowing that this exists, I am one of the bricks in the building, the proverbial building that is Patriot Federal Credit Union. I'm not just a number. I'm not just a name. I am a person who, because of what I'm putting into this organization, it continues to live and thrive and expand now.
Yes, and you're talking to a person who's spent their entire career in the credit union industry. So when you talk about being a member, that means you have one vote. So if you have $5 in your account or $500,000, you have that same one vote for our volunteer board of directors. And that democratically controlled kind of idea is another thing that really makes us a lot different.
What else? What would you tell somebody before we wrap up here that doesn't know anything about Patriot Federal Credit Union? What would you say to them?
I would say open your eyes. Come to Patriot. We'll welcome you. We will always do what's in your best interest, and sometimes that means saying no. But we are committed to our stakeholders, to our members, to our staff, and to the communities that we serve. And I think that's a very refreshing approach, and I think that's something that everyone can take advantage of.
Speaking of staff, now that you're obviously expanding even more, is staffing something that you are in need of? Are we always looking for good people, or are we certainly now we are in more need? How does that work out for you?
Sure, always looking for good people. I think like every business, we see turnover all the time. But at Patriot, that's another commitment that we have to not only treat our members well, but treat our staff well. That helps you in recruiting and especially in retention.
Absolutely.
To really value the people that do the hard work,
And
especially.
you can feel it when you walk into a business. If your employees are happy, everybody else is happy. You can really feel the environment as a customer walking into any business.
And we take that very seriously. We're going to kick off an initiative to do some engagement surveying amongst our employees to make sure that we're doing the right things and find out what we can do better.
Now, Ron, where are you centrally located?
So I'm at Wayne Avenue.
Okay.
That's the corporate office.
Right.
So the Wayne Avenue branch is in front, facing Wayne, and the corporate center is facing South 7.
So we were able to pull you away because I'm sure you are constantly busy every single day there up in Chambersburg.
Well, I think you're never too busy to speak on behalf of Patriot, so I definitely find time for that.
Website, if someone wanted to come in, if they were curious and wanted to get some more information, where would they find you?
I didn't know we were going to have trivia, but it is www.patriotfcu.org.
Okay, perfect. Ron, thank you so much for being here with us on Let's Talk Tri-State.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Our pleasure. Coming up, we're going to take another look at news and sports, and it's all powered by the DRB Group, the right partner for your real estate development.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.